Okay, so this is the closet of nonsense. This is going to be...
You're in my closet of
I am.
nonsense.
That's the best part of this, yeah. This is my first on location. I did say that I was going to start traveling, and I got to come to Las Vegas, and I've been doing some shooting and stuff, and actually we flip-flopped things. We were going to do this, actually, tomorrow.
We're going to do shoot tomorrow, yeah.
Because it's hot as shit.
It's a weather issue, okay?
How do you live in a place where it makes your face hurt every day?
I have no idea. You have to, exfoliation is key, is what I'm learning. I have to exfoliate every day. Otherwise, like, I'm normally from Cali, so
yeah,
I've never had issues of makeup just falling off right after you put it on, so exfoliation. Yeah. I'm drinking lots of water.
That's the thing. I hate water, and I've had like 6 bottles of water in the last day and a half just being here. It's crazy.
You never want to have water when you're here, but it's
I hate
important.
Water. Well, and I've also learned from years of coming here that the water that is here tastes bad. So I get bottled water.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I have like Aaron Brockovich moments of like, oh my God, there's something that's going to kill me in the water.
Right.
I know that's probably not the case.
You don't want to have that water. I always have filter water at my house, or I get the jugs and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, you got to have the good water. Yeah. Did you hear that the scandal of, do you ever see those blue bottles of real water?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not real water. There's actually, like, they got sued because there's actually bad shit in it.
Yeah, there's shit in it, yeah. Which is kind of how that works. Well, I always laugh because there's, when people are like, it's Fiji water, and there's artesian water. You ever seen an actual artesian well? It's fucking mud. I mean, it's what it is.
The funny thing was, it's called real water.
Yeah,
it's like, you can't trust nothing that says that.
Well, and I know that people say it wasn't the case because Evian, blah, but it says naive backwards. Come on. You gotta know.
Funny.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're gonna get in. We've been talking for a really long time, and the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of names. You have been a performer for forever, and you have a couple of different online personas. You're one of those people who's had your Instagram taken down 6 times?
5, so I'm on the 6th
You're on the 6th one, okay.
Hopefully it doesn't go, but if I do make it to 7, that's my lucky number.
Well, there you go.
But,
there you go.
But, I'm going to...
So, how would you... Yeah, good call. Hopefully. It counts. There's wood in there somewhere.
Well, hopefully nobody thinks I'm not going to...
Somebody next door. The spirits, they're not...
But, yes, it's been a struggle, but I'm on my last leg. I actually did not want to make that account. I actually, after the 5th one was down, I was like, fuck this shit. It took me so much energy, especially the ones that were, really, really up there, that, you just have to have it. It's fucking stupid. Yeah.
And this one is under just Onyx Muse, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
They've always been, I
a variation of
that. My Onyx Muse stuff, but I think I may be in their database, and that's why they fuck with me.
It's possible.
I can't even post a picture. I see girls that have full on their ass in the shit, damn near just a line through their shit, and I barely do a side angle of me in a thong, and I
always assume it's because there's somebody who follows you who hates you.
Probably.
I mean, that's, and I have no proof of this, but it feels like the people that I know that get deleted a lot or get blocked or is because there is somebody that is so jealous or so pissed off at them that all they do is just troll it and wait until I can get this one reported. Because I get reported often when I do the gore stuff, I get reported. Yeah. And I've actually had experiences where the police are showing you didn't actually kill somebody, right? I was like, that's him right there. You show them that's the person or whatever. But there are moments when I've posted a couple things, I'm like, I really censor carefully. I make sure I do guidelines. I really follow and I have had people go, you don't get reported, but I did something that was not even close to that,
right?
And my account got suspended for 10 days. And I'm like,
I probably have some strippers that hate me or whatever. But the first time that I got deleted, it was actually really funny. I did a shoot and I had a ball gag in my mouth, and I was on the phone, and I posted something busy at work or hardly working,
nice.
And I got fucking deleted, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even fucking do nothing.
That's the one thing when I have any of my really fetish based stuff not on Instagram. I've been okay on Instagram, but on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
I'm dropped. And so, which it's funny to me that, being in this industry and The most popular accounts on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are sexually based in one form or another.
TikTok, I have posted too. Well, my friend really wanted me to go on TikTok because of our rapper friend.
Yeah.
He's like really popular on TikTok. And of course, I was a dumbass. I put OnlyFans in the description. Yep, got dinged. And then I tried to do like a I tried to be real subtle with it. Yeah, so I have to work around. Apparently, I need to get like workout shit and be covered up when I put my posts because they really get on you about their guidelines.
Yeah, which is the whole reason I never got a TikTok. I've been really, really nervous about it for a long time, but I just started one like a week ago and I haven't done anything with it yet. But what I'm going to do is actually like, I have so many images and things that I don't post because of either they're candids or they're not fit for this or it was part of a series or like there's a publication that 4 of those images got published but the other 6 or I'm building these kind of slideshows and things and going to do something with that. And I'm hoping that I just don't get like if it gets deleted or I get knocked off, I'm going to give up. I'm not going to keep fighting that one because Instagram's hard enough. I know that when I started, my Instagram went to 1,500 virtually overnight. It blew up. And I was like, oh my God, I've been fighting Instagram for so long, I don't want to be a part of this. And it blew up. And then they changed the guidelines. And in the last 2.5 years, I think maybe I've gotten 100 new followers, and that's it.
Nice.
I have no interactivity. I have nothing like where I used to get 200-300 likes. I get maybe 20.
This algorithms keep changing, and honestly, like, I'm a mom now, so I barely have enough energy for it, but it's just so annoying that that's life. But it also, like, I put so much energy into it that, like, there's just times where it's like I'm not going to have to, like, document myself all the time because you people are ridiculous. Like,
but again, that comes into like trying to develop a name, develop a trade name, something. I mean, you've been performing
since 2014.
Yeah.
So
you have an established identity.
Yeah, and what I've been doing beyond, taking pictures and videos of myself, of as you can tell, of my studio, I've been investing into things, into ventures, into things are going to be longer lasting than a fucking picture and image that Instagram or any of these social media conglomerates are going to own, because I want to own my own shit and be able to produce and distribute that.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of the things that I plan on bringing that up later, but okay, everybody has a side hustle. Everybody has, this is my hustle, this is my side hustle.
I got several.
You've got like 9 hustles. Like, what all do you do?
Well, right now, what's really popular, and it does take a lot of my time, is I'm fucking hustling cars. I got Turo right now, so I got a fleet of 6 cars. Actually about to get another one. So business is really booming on that side.
I love it. You downplay cars. These are not just cars.
Oh yeah, these are like high-end cars.
Yeah.
Actually, so my more basic one, I had a cheap Cherokee. Yeah, that one got stolen. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. It's actually in the community of Turo. That happens a lot. So now we're going to upgrade that. We're getting a Corvette because I'm not a Corvette person, but that's really popular. But we have a Range Rover. I have a Jaguar F-Pace SUV. I have a Mercedes GLE. I have a Maserati. I have I got a lot of cars.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you said cars, and I was like, no, I'm not letting that one slide.
It's really fun. I mean, so this is something new. Thank God to the pandemic, because car rentals are charging up the ass, so people are looking for another source. Yep. So that's really cool. So that's one of my hustles. Obviously, I'm in the adult industry, so I do OnlyFans, and I've been really good on there, but before OnlyFans, I've been doing webcamming. I have a few sexting sites. There's a lot of different platforms that I'm on, but OnlyFans is kind of like the main. But I'm also working towards something that is going to be beyond OnlyFans, but it's just like it's the market right now.
Yeah.
So that's one of my hustles. One of my hobbies that's not really a hustle, but I started a podcast. So I do a podcast. I'm on a pause right now because I had to do a whole move, a house to a house with a baby. So
which is never the easiest thing at all.
I've
done that enough times to know
and I say I'm a matchmaker. I have a lot of regulars and clientele that come. You know, I host them out here in Vegas or sometimes in LA. But I'm just very. I know a lot of people. I know how to like treat people. I help a lot of girls out with their getting themselves in the business. It's a little financial domination. That's another niche that I do. But yeah, I'm just all around a hustler. Like if it makes money and it makes sense, then I'm trying to dip my toe in.
And I guess that was my point, is that so many people are like, well, I got this side hustle, I got my job, and then I got my side. Some people are just hustlers. Some people just, they really are. They're like, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to commit to it. And I guess I find it interesting, like the people that I know that are more successful at LA, Las Vegas, New York, even Aspen and Vail, I do see that some in Colorado. There are those people, but it usually comes from either having a really bad experience that you learn from and go, okay, I'm never going to let that happen again, or thinking beforehand like, okay, I'm going to use this as a launching pad towards something else.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, I guess you would kind of consider it, but like when I started working, my first job was I worked at like Quiznos and a movie theater, and then but I worked, I'm from Riverside, so it's like there ain't shit out there, and literally they would, literally like they would try to give you like 16 hours a week or something, and so I literally I had 4 jobs at a time just to make full time, and I used everything as a stepping stone. Like my main thing is I wanted to move to LA, and I was literally I got to the point where I was a legal secretary for an attorney, and I was probably, he said I turned out to be his best secretary. But he just drove me crazy. Like those people, they're a little intense, little tight ass, and but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about contracts and just kind of legal terms of things, and so I used that to go to LA. I managed dancers. I got into go-go dancing and modeling, and I actually managed go-go dancers and models for conventions, nightclub events, festivals, and I produced events, and I hired DJs, I hired dancers, and all that. I did a whole I did ticket sales, which before social media it wasn't as easy.
It was a fucking nightmare. It was a fucking nightmare. Don't play that down.
Go to people. I did guerrilla marketing. But it's cool because I actually enjoy the process of things, and then from there, I was dancing for Insomniac, so I was dancing at all the festivals. I kind of reached the highest point of that, but it really didn't pay that much. I wanted to level up, and I wanted to do things where I was actually I was able to get into these awesome raves for free, but it's that doesn't pay the bills or it doesn't help you, travel and stuff. And so I did get into, on another thing. I've been in the cannabis industry for a long time, so I've worked as a bud tender and managed a shop. And, I just started seeing a lot of people doing awesome things, and I wanted to get onto that. And I kind of ran into an unfortunate incident where I met a really bad photographer, but he introduced me to porn stars and girls in the porn industry, and I had a girlfriend take me to the strip club for the first time. And before, I would never, ever wanted to use my body in that way, but I was you know what, I'm confident. When I got into the industry and into sex work, I was 24, so I was already you know, grown up. I was experienced. I was very strong-minded. I put my foot down when I didn't like things, and you know, I didn't have a problem speaking up to people. So I would say I was lucky in the sense, but I was also like, I came in with a straight mind. I wasn't fucked up doing drugs. I wasn't like, I didn't have a pimp, or I didn't have somebody like holding my hand
or pushing me. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I went in, and you know, I learned things when I did porn. It wasn't glamorous at all. It was not.
Everyone thinks it is.
It
Till
was
they see
not
it.
the
Till
fantasy that you thought, and really, it's very political. You know, agents and performers, and you know, the saturation that there's so many girls with very little shoots. And also, it's like when you sign up and you tell them, like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, that's the only thing. It's like they just push you, and even if you were, like, really into it, they don't like that. They want you to be uncomfortable, and they want you to, like, not have fun.
People who don't have footing are easier to control and make money off of.
Right.
And that's kind of how that works, unfortunately.
And also, yeah, because there was girls who were not from California, so they came, you know, like, to live in the model house. It was like $1,000 for a bedroom, and I was like, fuck that, I have my own room. But you gotta understand, like, these girls that were coming out here, they had nothing. They had no opportunities or no other ways to make money. So they were desperate, you know, they were doing shady escort jobs that they didn't know that they were going to be doing. You know, the whole thing was that the mortgage of the model houses had to be paid. So all those girls living in them had the first dibs. And then, you know, if you were fucking the agent, you may had a perk. But yeah, it was really crazy. And so from there, I actually got into dancing before, like dancing at the strip clubs before I did porn. So like when it came to be like, you know, you have to pay for your tests, and they're a lot, and you had to get them every like twice a month. It's not cheap. And it, you know, just the lifestyle, you had to wear certain outfits, that you had to present yourself as this, you know, persona that you really weren't.
No one talks about the maintenance that is involved in not just in porn. It's the same in like if you're a agency attached model, it's the same thing. You eat what you can, you live where you're told, and it's a sense of control.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to sound too anti-penis here, but I'm gonna.
It's misogynistic.
It is extremely misogynistic, even to the point where the women I know that are in management positions, so they're very controlling, almost more so because they feel like they've have to push harder. And I know you just. I mean, I'm sure you have a million horror stories, and
I have tons.
And that's just it. And yet at the same time, I mean, I know in our conversations how empowered you feel.
Well, you know, too, it's, at the time, I didn't feel empowered, but, like, I remember, like, one of my first conventions that I went to, and it was, like, you know, I have a very, like, notorious agent, everybody knows him, they hate him, but, so, like, I was so excited to, like, be there, but it was, like, everybody knew that, like, he was literally like a dog pissing on your leg. But like, I would go like, he didn't want you talking to anybody. And I remember I even was like, I screamed at him, and I was just like, yo, like, I need to go to the bathroom, like, you need to back the fuck up. And I had older performers that were like, whoa, like, if you're talking to your agent like that, like, you're gonna be good. But of course, you know, he tried to punish me by not giving me bookings, which was actually fine. Because, you know, and I also, like, he tried to offer me shoots that I just wasn't into, and I turned them down because, I have that right to say no. Sure, okay, if I'm not going to get a shoot to do a porn scene, it's not like the world's over. But for some girls, that is how it is.
Well, but I want one more time for the people in the back. So you are in control of you.
Right.
And too many women that I know really forget that.
Well, they always think that they work for the agent. They don't understand that the agent works for you.
Yeah.
And there's a manipulation, too, that the agents work with these production companies, so they have their little bond. Some of them have been, some of these
It always feels like an old boys club. It's an old boys club, and I hate it.
The agents were performers back in the day, and what they have, their little system is that they'll get the checks and they'll get their cut before they give it to the girls. And I remember, like, I paid for all my shit. I never had, like, back pays or anything, and I remember so we had a money lady, and she would handle the finances. And I remember we were doing a convention, and she tried to, like, give me my check, but had all these minuses. She's like, oh yeah, this is like for what you owed here and this and that. And I was like, and it was funny, I used to smoke weed with her, so I made her cool with me. But when she said that, I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm never fucking working with you guys again. If you're gonna do some low shit, you're gonna hold on to my check, and then by the time I get my check, you're gonna take money out of it for some imaginary cost when I'm fucking paying out of pocket for everything. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, and the music industry just finally after umpteen years, I mean, literally a century plus, just got called out because during the pandemic, of course, all these tours got canceled.
Right.
And all these bands are like, we're canceling, we're so sorry, blah, blah, blah. But ticket holders weren't getting their money back. And they're like, well, is it the venues? The venues are like, we didn't get our deposits back to give you your money back.
Yeah.
So we can't see agents. They're like, no, we got the money, we're holding it. Because you're going to do that tour someday.
Yeah.
You're going to do that. You're going to do that tour someday. So when you do, the money's there.
There's a lot of fuckery
we're taking care of it for you.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, but by the way, you owe us, even though that tour's not happening for 2 years, you owe us this fee and this merch fee and this. It's finally getting seen by the public, quote unquote. And of course, you're going to see, I mean, there's always the skewed view from one side to the other and things. But in the film industry, the adult film industry, modeling industry, music industry, these are the norms.
And the adult film industry, we're kind of like the redheaded stepchild.
It's so taboo still as much as it's finally come out that everybody watches porn.
It's glorified, but it's also like when you really get down and talk to other performers, I'm seeing other performers that are coming out, they're doing their podcasts, where they're getting on podcasts and they're talking about their stories. And like I was a little set back that like some of them were really talking about like the real experiences, but then also I'm like, fuck yeah, like tell your story, speak that truth, because it is fucked up. It's not glamorous, and a lot of these girls, no offense, that are getting into OnlyFans, they're going in with the wrong mindset. And I love sex work, and I love the ability to be a content creator and have that freedom, because a lot of these girls don't understand that it was not like that. Like when I got signed, they were like, oh, you need to like dye your hair brown and no more tattoos. And I like dyed my hair red again, and I got another tattoo, and I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. I'm like, if you can't get me work looking like this, then maybe you're not the agent for me. They sign you in these very long contracts, they shelf you, and then sometimes you're put in positions where you like show up to set and like you're told what you're supposed to do, but then on set, like, you got these like fucking shit being thrown at you where they're trying to do other acts. Like I remember I did a scene, and it was like an orgy scene, but I was only hired to perform with the guy. And so I loved the girls, like, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't paid to perform with them. And even though they were awesome girls, I didn't interact with them because it's like I wasn't paid to.
Right.
But my agent, they were even telling me, they were like, oh yeah, this director, he's known for, pulling things at the end, and even he tried to have me perform with him because he's like performs in the things, and it was just like, no, I'm not. So it's really hard. A lot of girls, especially now, who are getting into porn and they're getting pushed into things, and sometimes a lot of them, they're people pleasers, and they think that they're just gonna do it because it's like you're giving the good job, but it's like, this isn't a desk job, you're not gonna get a pat on the back, really, like, you're gonna get fucking laughed at behind your back because they're gonna be like, yeah, look at what I got out of this girl, and they're gonna go tell another production company or producers, and they're gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna get something out of her.
And people think they don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks.
Oh, they all talk.
Everybody
it's
talks.
all a little small circle.
Yeah, everybody talks. And that's, I don't know. There's so many cautionary tales.
Yeah.
And I mean...
And this is what what really bothers me is that I see some amazing girls who, like, start in cam or they're doing their clips and they're doing so fucking great on their own, and then what ends up happening, they cross over into getting signed to an agency, and then they're in the mainstream porn, and it's like, oh my god, what the fuck did you do? Like, you were going up, I was like rooting for you, and then you cross over and then you join, and then what's going on? You know, they're doing, you know, hardcore anal scenes, and, you know, where they were maybe just doing like girl stuff or whatever, and it's just so sad. I mean, you know, who knows if they made their own decision to do that.
If they decided to do that, that's one thing, but if you're feeling pressured, no one should ever feel that way.
Right. And it's like, I don't know what's going on, but it's really sad to see them just cross over into mainstream, because really, like,
I have
all
a
of
friend,
us ladies, we are winning the fact that we can control
you're in charge.
These sites.
You're in charge.
Yes.
And you get to dictate your time, your energy, your effort, and your income.
Yeah.
And that has never in the history of the U.S. at least. Never, but really mostly worldwide, but specifically in the U.S., that's never been a thing.
Yeah.
And now it is.
And even to have the ability to say, yes, I want to perform with a guy, or no, I don't want to perform with a guy. Yes, I want to perform with a girl, or no, I don't want to perform with a girl.
Yeah,
you know, there's no pressure, and there's no, you know, when you're in porn, you don't have that choice. And I think what a lot of girls think that, you know, doing porn is easy, but it's like, it may look like that in front of the camera, but when you have these heads on you, and, you know, and then of course, you know, they want to break you. Yeah.
Well, and there's that whole stigma of, you know, there's no assault in porn. There's no, it's the...
It is a gray area, because it's like, okay, we're consensually going there. We know what's going on. We, you know, yes, we have the right to say yes or no, but really, you just don't understand the politics of porn.
And that's
what a lot of people are not, they don't get.
Yeah, and you don't. I'm dealing right now. I have a friend who was doing exceptionally well camming and dancing. She's in Texas, doing great, and she just signed on with a big. And I want to call him out, but I know what it's going to do if I do it. But she got signed. They're taking her to Florida. She's doing some scenes, and they sent her what she's doing. She didn't agree to it, but that's what she's doing. And then somehow, when she started complaining, and I can't prove it, but I'm 90% sure that it made her job at the club almost impossible to maintain, to the point where she left the club she's been working at because she didn't feel comfortable. People were saying things to her, people were doing things, and she's like, I guess I'm just not gonna.
I think that's another thing, like, for me, I'm very strong-minded, where, like, of course, like, I use it to my advantage. Like, I dance under my stage name and whatnot, but I'm okay. Like, yes, guys jerk off to me, and whatever, they're gonna say what they're gonna say, and I learn how to monetize it. But some girls they can't take all this energy that's coming towards them from guys. So it is, and that's really why it says, it's like, you know, it's for some people and it's not for some people. And I've seen so many girls, you know, they're traumatized, or they're real fucked up from working in porn. And it's terrible.
Yeah, well, and it's that whole concept of everybody does think it's glamorous.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, I mean, anybody who's been on an actual film set knows that there's a lot of takes, there's a lot of cuts, there's a lot of this, there's a lot of, oh wait, nope, hold that, nope, reset, nope, start over, nope, lighting, nope.
And you don't even know what kind of performer you're going to get that you have to work with.
Yeah.
Like, some of them are good, some of them, they have bad days, or some are just bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that in porn, more so than in your classic film, it's the exact same, but it's over a specific idea or setup, and
the concepts too.
Yeah.
Like some of the concepts, like what really started turning me off was like these like incestuous concepts that like in order for me to get in character, it just was not sexy to me, and it didn't feel sexy, and it felt very forced and very like I from the minute we started, I wanted to stop.
I'm not going to pretend to understand the fascination that goes on right now with stepbrother porn or stepdad porn or stepmom. I don't know why that's so popular, and maybe I just am not wired that way.
I feel like it's like a middle America thing, maybe, or I don't know.
It's definitely something, and I
did see Lana Rhodes was on her own podcast, and she was talking about like they did a statistic of that a lot of like serial killers and like psycho people are watching those type of porn or like hardcore scenes, and you know, it's just scary because it's like you don't know who the consumer is that they're catering to, but if that's the consumer, like, do
you really want to be catering to that anymore?
No,
and then that's well not. And then you look at, okay, let's take it back another step. It has been for decades very common to sexualize schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that whole concept of the babysitter.
Yeah.
And it's it's always been weird to me. Don't get me wrong, like I get it. I understand the short skirts and the plaid. I mean, I do. It's like, yeah, that's cute. But I've never looked at it as like, I want to go have sex with a schoolgirl.
Right.
Until the last few years when I realized, no, these guys really want to go have sex with a schoolgirl. They really want to go.
Like even the whole like, you know, I know a lot of girls talk about this, that there's an assumption that, you know, girls have daddy issues and, you know, or they've been sexually assaulted when they were younger, and that's just not the case. There's a lot of great women who got into this with no like issues like that and whatever. However, this whole like daddy thing, like I'm a dom, so I never allow, like I'll never be calling a guy daddy. I'll never allow a guy to think that I'm gonna be on my knees begging them to call me daddy or like begging for their dick. But I get it, you know, it's an ego stroke for the guys that like that. You know, there's some great girls who are genuinely submissive and they enjoy that, you know, power exchange. But it just goes into this whole concept of this, like, you know, just the terminology and stuff. And then it's a lot of people who, you know, have their own beliefs, and hearing girls talk like that, you know, feel that they can treat girls rude, like horrible, because we're sex workers, or oh, you're dirty, or you're fucked up, and because you do this work, and you know, so there's a lot of shame. But I am noticing that the shame isn't really with us. It's with these people who are consuming it.
Yeah.
And, you know, feel some type of way. So,
yeah, they have this idea or this concept in their head of, if I say this or if I feel this, it's everybody must feel that way.
Right.
And they don't get that, you know, like I say, everybody watches porn.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, it happens. Like,
and even if it's
10 years ago, you couldn't say that.
And even if it's people who are not watching porn, you're having sex, or you're jerking off.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Yourself.
Yeah, there's something going on.
And like I've had a lot of incidents where like sometimes this happens. Like men who are attracted to me will actually kind of act like fucked up, because they want to get my attention by sparking something. And
the Chad complex. Chad complex.
It's also like they do it to other girls, and it's just so stupid. It's like, okay, you're going to be an asshole for what? But I learned not to engage, but it's just, I don't understand.
I have a lot of friends, a lot of my friends on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Actually, I see it even more with my guy friends that are on OnlyFans, where they will be, And I don't know why it's ever okay. Like, I've never, I mean,
And I think it's too, like, sometimes some of them are in denial because they are consuming on OnlyFans. Like, you know, OnlyFans is very new.
Yeah.
And it's a new type of customer, but these customers are normally from social media where they're not really invested. They don't pay anything. Now they're paying.
Now they I paid $10 a month.
Because they just
owe me
wanna
you owe me
see.
time.
Yeah,
You owe me time.
but they, like, feel, you know, if it's like pettiness because, like, maybe they wish they can do this, but they just can't. But, you know, or it's, you know, you have the guilt trippers, the guys that are trying to, like, save you or and think.
Let me be
like,
the person you rely on. Let me save your life. Or why? Oh, sweetie, you could be doing so much better.
You must. You know, you're really.
You wouldn't do this if you had a man to take care of you.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
The Captain Save a Hose.
Yeah, I don't get all that, and I don't understand. Like, I get when you're a kid, when you're like in second grade, pulling pigtails and not, you know, run. I've always joked like there's those moments where you just want to run up to somebody, shove them in the ground, and be like, I think you're cute, and then run away. Like I get that.
The little boy.
But then the frat mentality comes into it, and then you got your Chads and your Kyles who are like, you know, they're calling you a bitch to your face. They're making fun of you. And those are the ones that tend to get more attention. It's the same as internet trolls. Like, you watch somebody just like, they just go and go and go and go, and it's like, you're spending so much time because you're so upset. They're getting what they want out of you. When if you just ignored them, they invariably have to kind of go away.
We used to have this happen a lot, that like when we would do a scene and we were like, you know, acting or whatever, or sometimes this always happened with like Caucasian like women who cross over to do like interracial, and you know, it's some of them behind the scenes, they've been doing that already, but you know, it's a character. And actually, like, these fans, when you would do it, they would like contact us and act like it was like, oh, we're fucking terrible, but then they would also attack the male performer as if like, oh, like, you know, it's like they lose track of this fantasy, and they really genuinely like would attack us thinking that like this girl was really like held against her will to fuck this guy, and just because of the color of his skin, they didn't like him. So now it's like, oh,
that's a reflection on society, and I mean, and I have said it a million times. Like, if you do not believe that systemic racism exists in this country, you're kidding yourself. It's horrible, and it translates more. Have you seen the movie Get Out?
Yeah, of course.
That is a movie that I wish was not a horror movie, because they should show that in fucking 10th grade civics classes. They should show that to all high school students and say, this is fucking real. This is how people are treated. This is real. You know, and it drives me insane that, because what you just said, I've actually witnessed it. I've watched it. I've had friends be like, oh, man, this girl's like the hottest, blah, 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 but she did this scene with this dude, and now, and it wasn't because he was black, but it was because he was uncircumcised and didn't speak English.
And now they're like,
I can't even see her the same. And I'm like, dude, that girl would never even look at you twice. Shut up anyway. Like, it's a character, it's a person. Who knows? That might be her husband for all you fucking know.
Right.
You don't know. You assume. So many people assume that if you're in porn, you must be single.
I had this guy, and I guess he like fell into, you know, I do a MILF thing, but he thought that I was like a single house mom, which is like, okay, whatever, I guess you can feel it, but like to think that in real life, it was really like, you're a fucking idiot.
Well, and you're one of the few that I've seen in recent years where you very, very, when you announced the pregnancy, you did it in a dramatic enough way, like, hey, by the way, this is it. It's part of who I am.
I actually didn't even really announce it. I did keep it silent, but I was doing pregnant content online. The side. Yeah. So it was funny too, because I just started camming, and I was like, and it was funny, like, these guys were, you know, just trying to do, like, the normal stuff. And I'm like, can't really do that because...
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. And it would be so funny. Like, guys would be like, oh, oh, you're like pregnant. Oh, okay, I guess like, never mind. But then I had guys that were like on my webcam that like never fucking talked to me in my life, and they were fucking tipping me. I made customs all the way up until my due date. Highly suggest it for any woman who gets pregnant. If
I
you're
have
down for it.
Yeah, I have a couple friends that they were like really same thing. They were like,
you make so much money.
And now even more so, like in following, like those same people are way more supportive. And she's like, some of these people I genuinely feel like are like they're kind of friends.
Yeah.
They're really like, how's your kid? How's this? How's that? They're talking about my life, not what I'm doing.
Yeah, you definitely
And there's a
have
line
that
you have to
boundary,
cry. You have to have that.
You could ask how that is,
Yeah.
but like if you want to see them, I'm not.
And she's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
We have no real life contact. They're literally like, cool. And then it's okay. Now let's get back onto that. Yeah, they're like, okay, cool. We're glad to be part of that. I have a friend who, she was dancing at a club and pregnant, and she danced up to like, I mean, we're talking days before she had the kid.
Oh my god.
And this girl's abs would blow your mind because she could hold it in, and like, I was actually, one of my friends was working with her. It's like, this girl's amazing, blah blah blah. And then she saw her in the locker room, and she finally walked in, and she looked at her and she goes, huh, and let her stomach out, and she was like, I didn't even know she was pregnant. I didn't even know, and I didn't know what to do. And it was like, and she was not little. She did not look unhealthy. It was just one of the things she just did. And
holy shit.
so when she came back, a lot of those people who knew, okay, she's pregnant, she's gonna have a kid, when she came back to the club, those customers were like, good on you for sticking to it. Thanks for coming back. Like, they really appreciated,
right.
You're being a good mom.
Well,
you're doing everything you can to build that nest egg. You do what you need to for you. And
what I've sort of noticed, because I was so out there, obviously before I was pregnant, and now that I, the little bit of times that I can go on and whatever, it's like a lot of these fans, they genuine support because they're just like, oh fuck, like now you got a purpose.
It's a reminder
really
that you're a real person.
You're really doing it.
It's a reminder that you're a real person.
Yeah. So that's like really cool, and a lot of them, they're like super understanding, because I'll tell a guy, like they'll try to like do a session, or maybe they want a custom, and be like, I gotta get to you later, but I will deliver. But it's like, yo, I gotta put this baby to bed, or I have to keep my daughter, like I have her sleep trained, so I keep her on a very tight schedule because I need those.
I recommend that to any parent though.
10 to 12 hours a night. Like, I did this really awesome sleep training video that, any moms out there, you need to do that. You need to nip that in the butt right away.
I recommend that to any parent. I sleep train my kids. I got really lucky with my kids and the ability to do that, but it allows you to have a professional life after dark.
Yeah.
And for me, everybody thinks, oh, you're in a record label, you do photography. There's a whole lot of spreadsheets and a whole lot of file transfers, and most of it is just waiting for shit to upload. But you have to have time to do that.
Yeah.
and having kids, it's hard.
Like,
having babies, it's tough.
Go back to the club because I am hearing it's so good, and I am a little.
People are definitely jonesing to be out there now.
I have to just make sure that I have a babysitting situation, or even to, like, I could do camming at home, and like making content, like it's easy, but it's, it's still like I get so exhausted.
We were talking when you were moving a couple weeks ago, and you were like,
oh
all I want to do is just smoke a blunt. I just want to smoke a blunt and I don't want to do any of this.
Oh, and I have a blunt that we could smoke. I gotta roll. But yeah, no, it's like, and it's like 2 levels, so 2-story, and I had to do it like section by section, keeping baby on schedule when I'm fucking exhausted.
Exactly.
And don't even get me started on the junk guy that we had to pay to get the rest of the shit, because we had to throw shit away. I still gotta throw shit away, but we're all moved in. It's really awesome. I have been taking some time to like chill, but now I'm like getting back like on my roll. I'm like, okay, this is my house now. we're gonna fucking unpack this shit. But then also, like, I'm trying to get back on my fitness thing, so I have to incorporate.
I say, yeah, you were back in the gym here in the last couple of days. Your birthday's next week.
And my birthday's next week. So a little different. I don't have sudden plans. I have a lot of friends coming to town, but I literally, like, all I want is give me some drinks and like
it changes things. It does.
Yeah, like. I haven't been like fucked up around my daughter. I would never want to be fucked up around my daughter, but you know, I deserve a little saucy night. Yeah, like motherhood is it's a motherfucker.
Yeah. And
to all the motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is you go back to how taboo porn was or how taboo camming was even 10 years ago. No one felt comfortable admitting they were moms. No one felt comfortable. And now it's starting to, like...
I'm still a little, like, I've actually talked to directors who have been, you know, called, like, CPS on them. And I do get nervous to, like, admit that I'm a mom. Just, you know, for non, like, adult working people, I get nervous of, like, how they'll feel or you know, think towards me. But, you know, never ever like put my daughter in a situation where she is next to what I'm doing.
If you were a marine biologist, you would not take your kid and dangle them over the shark tank.
No, absolutely not.
But no one thinks about that.
Right.
If you're a race car driver, you don't strap your kid in next to you and when you're riding essentially an explosive rocket on tires.
Yeah.
It's a stigma.
It is.
It's a stigma, and it's attached to this whole concept of something that everybody does. Everybody, and it's still like it's very weird
hard.
To me.
And I think too, like before when I was helping like women out with camming, I was like, oh my god, like camming is so awesome because you can be with your kid and still do your thing. But I think now I'm getting more of an understanding where a lot of these women were coming for. They're like, I genuinely do not have a place to fucking like do this. Like I got my kid, I have my room, I have to do a setup, but it's nothing that I can, you know, break down. And that's kind of a reason why I wanted to make a studio, because I wanted to be a place where women can come in, you know, it's not their home, so it's not really something that they have to worry about, but it's where they could just kind of like get into it and not have to worry about like doing it at home. But like with me, I'm like really like I do have a separate place, but I also have to keep my baby monitor on, like making sure she's you know, going to sleep. If she wakes up, I gotta stop and whatever. So it's stressful, but I just like I want to be there for these little milestones that she's, you know, doing and you know, see, like I want to see. So I've been able to see a lot of the things, like when she first started walking and saying her first words, so that's really exciting to me. But I think a lot of women get into the shame part when they have to go back to work. It sucks to leave your kid that like relies on you, but you have to like get back to life. So
see, and I was a single dad, and it was, people thought I was crazy because my daughter in particular, who has Down syndrome, I took her with me on tour and gave her like the custom built headset, and she met rappers and rock stars and things, and she loved it. Yeah. My son, who's significantly older than her, he remembers meeting people and being a part of that. And there was things I asked him here, he's 20 now, and I asked him a few weeks ago, did you ever see anything that made you uncomfortable? And he's like, not even once. Yeah. He goes, I didn't realize drugs were a thing until a couple years ago. Yeah. And I'm like, really? He goes, I had no idea. Like, I knew that people smoked weed, but I didn't know there was anything else going on ever. And like, I know for damn sure that there were people that he was around that were just coked out of their mind, but he never knew, because even they were like, there's a kid, that's the producer, that's the tour manager, that's the drummer for that band, or that's the sound guy. We're gonna chill. There is this sense, it's like this honor code. Right. And it's forgotten in industries where it wouldn't come up. And that kind of blows my mind. So when you talk about the whole concept of like, oh, I gotta have the space, I gotta do this, like I was, you know, I dated a girl who was a dancer, and she had a practice pole set up in our bedroom, and good Lord, was she's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing on the pole. Really worked hard at it, things like that. Well, we'd split up. She moved out, and I had some friends over for dinner. And, of course, I'm kid-friendly. And I didn't think anything of it. And a couple kids went running through because they were wanting to play with the dog and play with the cat. And they come running back out. And, of course, I know their mom is a dancer. We don't talk about this. I know their mom's a dancer. Her boyfriend knows that she's a dancer. But none of us talk about work around the kids.
Right.
And they come running into the room and they're like, you have a fire pole too? And it was this moment of, yeah, I do. Who doesn't want to be a fireman? I didn't know what,
I don't, like, I try not to talk about, like, what I do with my nanny just because I don't want her to think anything. Or I had a couple nannies, so I was trying to be very, like, easy on like what I would let out, so it's, I have to, like, because sometimes I'll have guys that like want to do like a Zoom session and whatever, and I'll be at home and then I have to like get out of my sexy clothes because I'm like, oh, I gotta go downstairs, but I don't want my nanny to see me in my beach outfit.
No, it's that kind of stuff. I love that stuff, and I think it's funny because so many people think that it's like any other job. Cops don't bring their work home. They don't talk at the dinner table of the horrible things they see.
Right.
And the irony to me is in many ways that sex work is harder because it integrates so many different aspects. It's not just about sex.
Fantasy and reality. Like, you have to, like,
therapy.
Separate the two. Absolutely.
It's therapeutic.
Absolutely.
It's this idea of I can escape. The same as you go watch a good movie and lose yourself in a character, or you fall in love with somebody that's not a real person. Like,
who use it for like therapy, and also like when I do dom work and stuff, like when I do my sessions. When I used to do them in person, that was really great. When I do them online, it's not really.
It's a lot less personal when it's
a lot less like therapeutic for me, but more so for them.
For them, they still get the release.
Which is still cool, but it's the safety factor is more than anything that I can ask for. Because,
yeah, absolutely.
I've had some pretty crazy situations when you're doing the live dom sessions in person. That I had to learn, as a baby dom learning, but now it's like I will never put myself in those situations again.
Try being a videographer, watching stuff and going, I have to keep quiet, I have to not respond, don't react, even though this guy is now screaming his head off and threatening to kill this woman. It's fine, everything's fine. There were those moments where, you watch them, they're like, we're done, we gotta go. Like, you see these lines that are crossed, and that was... And,
these sessions can get very intense, and there's an etiquette, there's a whole, like, formula to it that you have to follow, because you're dealing with somebody's mind. This is like a mental stimulation, and if you don't follow through on all the things, especially aftercare, these people can have you
can hurt
in their
them.
head. Well, you could hurt them, but they could also obsess over you, and they can, feel like you're the bad guy to this problem that they have. So, I have a lot of girls that I was on Clubhouse, and I was in a lot of these like engagement rooms with OnlyFans creators and porn girls and stuff. And a lot of girls wanted to learn, they want to learn how to do financial domination. And I'm still, like, willing to, like, give a workshop, if it's, like, through Patreon or something. But it's just, it's not for everybody. And it can be really intense in how to, like, handle these guys. Because it's, kind of like a mom, these are like, these guys can have tantrums, and you need to know how to navigate it, but you also can't freak out. Like you have to be able to maintain.
You are in charge of the entire situation.
Absolutely.
That is the.
They are in charge because they're the sub. Always.
I love that. That's my favorite.
They are in charge because if they say their safe word, it's done. However, you also have to be your own security guard if things. So I have a lot of guys that have, like, I've done online sessions with them before, and they really, they're like, I'll pay whatever to have a live session. I'm like, really, like, if I were to do it, I have to have security. Like, I have to have it where you're not thinking me and you are in the same room alone.
That or a whole
Just
lot of
for
bear
my
spray or
safety.
something.
Yeah, just
no,
for my
I
safety.
get that. You just said something that I have this conversation with a lot of people. I've said it a lot. There has been a shift in recent years, and I put a lot of the credit to 50 Shades of Grey.
Good.
There you go. Your face just said exactly what I think. If that guy was not rich, that's an episode of Criminal Minds.
Right.
It's abuse. And too many women think, and I hate to say that because I don't want to be like it's women that think this, but too many women think that the romantic side of that being subbed or being, they don't understand the sub is in control.
Yes.
In any situation involving domination, the sub is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too easily forgotten. And I watch a lot of my friends or people that I meet or people that reach out to me, and that's more so recently been people that reach out to me that I don't know, who are describing their I'm in this relationship and I just don't get it, and like this friend told me that you'd understand and you'd be able to tell me something, and I'm usually like, dump him. He's abusing you. You don't realize that he's just telling you what to do.
So 50 Shades of Grey was written by, a house mom who
was fantasizing.
Who basically used the Twilight series,
Mm-hmm.
that concept, and she warped it into what is now 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
The reality is there scenarios where that can happen? Oh, sure, but no, not to how everything happened. And also when I did it, when I did my introduction of getting into it, of course that was put forth me by somebody who was a fucking amateur, until I did a real dom training and really learned the whole history of BDSM and what it entails of you being a sub to being a dom. And this is another thing that I really have a problem with a lot of women, and sometimes men too, a lot of men, but this is a lot of women. So a lot of women, especially with FinDom, they want to get into it and they want to be like, oh, well, I'm just a dom because that's what I'm going to do, and that I'm not going to get beat.
There's a difference between being a dom and being a bitch.
But the problem is you can never be a dom if you never learned from the bottom.
Right.
How can you know what you're giving to this person if you've never endured it yourself?
Right.
And that is a number one thing. And also with men also have came to me. I've had plenty of men came to me and think that they could just be a dom because they want to be that role. And it's like, no, you need to fucking learn from the bottom to be that. And that's where, all of this stuff, obviously the rules have been changing a lot. So there's a lot of serious doms who are getting mad at new people, and I hate that because it's such a beautiful thing when you actually are in it and you're learning it, that I get it that it should be cherished with the real people who are who have experience with it, but I also don't want to hinder any new women who may really benefit from it.
I when I first started understanding it, and I did literally fall into it. It was one of those things I was like, I was not looking for any of that. I was not looking for the concept behind it. I fell into it and I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of the Native American stories. Okay. Where it's handed down over time.
Yes.
And that to me was really beautiful. And really, that really resonated with me. And too many people now, they watch something online or they watch a YouTube thing.
Well, also they're watching porn.
Or they're just watching. What's even worse is the people who just watch Twitter and be like, well, this person's being a bitch and getting paid to do it. There's a difference.
If you didn't know, when 50 Shades of Grey actually came out, and then right after there were so many incidents of men actually genuinely assaulting women with these,
what they read,
tying them up and whatever, without understanding what each toy means.
Yeah.
I have all my toys here, all of my toys, I've never bought any of them. Some of them I may have, but most of them, they've all been bought by my sub, which, you know, I'm a true dom in that sense. However, I know, and I've experimented with all of those, that if I laid those on any of my subs, I know what they feel like, and I know what I'm.
And that's what matters.
And that's
why they make
100% what matters.
No, that's why they make cops get tased.
And a lot of these girls, they don't even know the terminology of some of these toys or how to do it properly.
The history or what. You can hurt people, you can cause permanent damage, you can do all sorts of things, and they don't know.
There's a lot of nerves that you can hit that can really cause permanent damage. And, like, for me, like, you know, there's always also this assumption that a dom has to be very aggressive and sadistic. In my style, I'm very sensual, but I'm stern. I will set my boundary up, but my style is just sensual, and that's just my nature. That's how I am. So I hate to get compared to other doms because I feel like every dom is unique in their own way. And also, what you have to understand is every dom, this is their therapy too. Like, we are coming from,
it's give and take,
and
that's mistaken way too often.
And
that
most of us, you know, we're rape victims. We've been in abuse relationships, mentally, physically. We've had sexual assault. You know, I've had a lot of great bonds with a lot of doms, and, you know, where they're coming from.
It's the ability to recenter and gain control in its own way, and I don't know why that's so mistaken so often. I mean, people don't realize that with musicians. Like, yeah, everybody's raging, and look, we're all on drugs and we're all high. And those artists are giving you everything, and they are taking everything from you same, and it is very give and take.
And that's why later on in years, you're really seeing them
Yeah.
have problems.
Yeah.
Because they think, or all those drugs that they took,
That's
or
part of it.
whatever, is
And,
like,
and for some, it is just the addiction to fame.
It affects them.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is the addiction to fame, and I will say that. But more often, it's the addiction to the art. It's the performance, and that's part of it. With especially in BDSM in particular, people miss out. They think, oh, it's a guy getting his ass kicked, or he's a pay pig, or he's a pussy.
Right.
And I deal with that with sugar daddies and sugar babies and things. It's same thing there, where there is
and a lot of these
there's
people,
an interpersonal relationship.
Even if this guy is, you know, wanting to endure that, a lot of people don't understand. These are very intelligent people. They are successful. You know, they have a bit of a lifestyle that they just kind of want to escape from. And this is their escape. They're not bitches. They are not, you know,
they're very powerful,
they're not
intelligent.
stupid.
They want to give up.
And
I see that more with the women who enjoy being dominated, that are in high power, CEOs, CFOs.
yeah.
They want to take
Even
an
people
hour
in
a
law.
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
legal people in particular. Give me a week. Give me an hour per week to just not be in charge of anything except this one moment.
It's a let go. You know,
Yeah.
you want to let go from that. And it really, what people need to understand is, like, a lot of us can use that. Whether it's, you know, you're this big hip hop rap guy or this super hot, like, thought on Instagram, I'm sure that she just wants to, like, bum it out in sweats and not have to put this.
Those are my favorites. Is the people
on.
like, there's a few people on and I've noticed it more with TikTok, I will say that, but there's a few people on Instagram that were like, they were these super glamorous, this is my mystique, this is what, and they set a certain aesthetic. And over time, they've started to be more real. And my favorite models, as far as social media is concerned, it's not about always the image. It's not always, it's who they are as a person. And I'm thinking of one girl in particular that she started posting, like, she has some acne problems.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, I'm dealing with this, and it affects my mental well-being, that I have a zit and I don't know what to do, and I'm worried about all of you hating me for having a zit. And she got on and started talking about it, and I was like, this makes you such a better person.
Right.
Because now every girl that's sitting there going, I want to look like her, and it takes some of that mystery away. It's like, I loved when people started doing this is me on the catwalk, this is me made up, this is me at home, and showed like the split of what people look like. The more that people do that and the more real they are, the more you see the sense of unity and the sense of okay, we can relate to each other. And that is something that in sex work in particular, and bartenders there's that therapeutic cross of it's symbiotic.
To always
be on point.
Like even me, like sometimes like I don't want to film, or I don't want to do social media posts because I don't have makeup on, and then like that's why I like Snapchat, because it's like I could do it. I'll put a little basic filter on, because even though maybe my face isn't all done up, but it makes me feel good. But I actually get more hits from that. I could be real quirky, and I like that, where I don't have to always do a fucking sexy post.
The second workout you did after having the baby, I watched it like 10, because I was laughing. So you're like, I should not be filming this. I should not.
Fucking tired.
You were exhausted. No. You were sweating. Like, but I'm doing this to remind myself that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's like I could feel what the fuck am I doing? Why am I here? Everything hurts. I don't want to do this. I'm uncomfortable and hot, and it made me like that's the reason. Like when we talk, it's real. There's no mystery about it.
I'm a very self-disciplined person, because I've been doing, like, I did gymnastics when I was younger. I did cheer, like, all through my life. So I've always been, like, a physically fit person. So, like, pregnancy was, like, the challenge of my life.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I give it up to girls who bounce back. There is some girls who don't bounce back, but it's also, it comes within. Like, if you want to bounce back, and I'm not saying I'm perfectly back to where I was, but I'm at least there. But I also have personal fitness goals. Like I have some like goals that I want to accomplish, and that's what I'm gonna do. Like right now, what my fucking worst one is changing my diet. I need to start eating better shit.
That's everybody. I don't care who you are. That's everybody. That's absolutely. And my diet sucks. I had an oatmeal cream pie for dinner last night, and I got to the point where after shooting and everything last night, my friends that were downtown were like, no, you're going to come actually eat. Because we haven't...
You know what I did last night? Instead of just... I mean, I did smoke a joint, but instead of... Usually I'll smoke a joint, and then I just fucking, like, scroll on fucking internet and shit. I was like, you know what? Because I just felt so much, like, negativity on, like, social media and YouTube and all this, and I was like, I am going to do what I always said I wasn't gonna do. And because I went to the grocery store and I actually bought meal prep bowls, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking make this brown rice. I never made brown rice before. I always make white rice, so I made brown rice, which it's not really that much of a difference. Just gotta add a little bit. But I made brown rice. I have a problem where like I'll buy meats and then I never cook them, and then they go bad. And so then I just bought this, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking cook this shit, and I'm gonna have my fucking meal for the day. And it was awesome, because it was just like, they're like, you know, they said like, if you want to get these gains, you have to like really be on top of yourself. So like,
you have to change proteins. You have to do these things. That's absolutely true. So,
and also getting older too.
That's everybody. I'm broken, so I wanted to talk about like you've been involved in not just the you smoke, you enjoy, but you are involved in the legislature.
I go in deep. I mean, I'm trying to get more involved.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be signing up to be a member for the Chamber of Cannabis out here, which is female owned, and they're the ones that really help put this senator to bring this up to the legislation and get it passed, and the mayor just signed it.
Yeah.
So this is like, now obviously we just have to wait to see what's going to be the term.
And there's going to be some the Fed versus the state, that of course, and you live in a county that loves to make money off of the city, and you've got a city that loves to make money off the tourists, and you got tourists who are like, let's get high. So so it's gonna be one of those who can make the most money in the most effective way, and that's what's going to really deter. Let's not pretend it's not a capitalist thing, but it is an incredibly important
And
step forward.
And I was with cannabis in LA for Prop 215, which is
Yeah.
really huge.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact that all this recreation.
That's actually when you and I first started talking, was when you were doing all that. I and ironically with everything else, I found you as a quote unquote weed girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a weed girl. And I don't remember, it was on social media, and then it kind of went from there.
That touches my heart, because if there's anything I would want to be portrayed as, is the hot weed girl.
Yeah. I mean, that was, and it was funny, like, I don't think until I really started getting into people's careers and like really paying attention, I don't ever classify anyone as like, oh, you're this or oh, you're that. But I remember how I was introduced to them. And there's some models I work with that I was introduced through, they were a go-go dancer, or some strippers who I actually met who I thought were models, and it goes around in circles. But the one that always gets me is like when somebody is involved in something that is, people look at weed and they think, oh, cheat.
Is this on? Are we on?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay,
yeah,
good,
we're
good,
recording.
'cause I'm like,
yeah, no,
good.
no, we're recording all this. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, everybody's going to be really confused because I'll do the fade out and the fade in. They're like, oh, you're talking about something completely different.
Cool.
Y'all missed some really cool shit you didn't know.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. But no, it's if you don't identify something. So people have this set in mind. If you've never smoked weed, or you're not into the scene, or you're not into the dirty hippie thing, you think Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
And for me, that wasn't it. It was never Cheech and Chong. It was Dazed and Confused when that movie came out.
Oh my god, dude! One of my favorite fucking movies.
The way Slater explains shit in that.
I could watch that movie all the time because it's like I love the 70s aesthetic, and it's just like everything from the fucking hazing and, you know, hanging with the big kids and partying, and like that movie is like, and just all the greats are in it.
And I remember thinking while that movie was going, I was like, man, if somebody would just hire Mila Jovovich to sell weed, this world would all smoke weed. I remember
Matthew
probably
McConaughey. Dude, come on, like such a pop culture
I quote so many lines from that movie, and I'm one of those people, when I quote a movie line, I get really upset if nobody gets the reference. But that's one of those ones, be a lot cooler if you did. Everyone's like, I know that movie!
I'm like really trying to like brand out like my cannabis stuff, even though I've been a stoner for like fucking way before the porn stuff. Like my first friend when I came to LA was this girl, and I'm friends with her, and I got her doing OnlyFans, and she's a mom. But it was funny because this girl, like, she like lived her in the block, and she was like, hey, she's like, I got a weed card, so it, you know,
if you need the hookup.
No, she was like, if you go with me and we do it together, we'll get weed because we're both cute girls. I was like, okay, all right. Shout out to Brandy. No, it was cool. So she got me in the loop, and then she basically showed me the system of when you have your card, how to get it and go in. And then I just like, I went to all these dispensaries, and then after I was just like, yo, like, if you need any, like, if you need somebody to help bud tend or whatever, like, let me know. And then that's how I started working for dispensaries, and I just went in and I just asked, and that was crazy. And some were a little bit more critical. There's a lot of hot girls, so there's a lot of competition and whatever, but it was really fun. And then this one dispensary that I worked for, the girl who was the manager got pregnant, and then by default I was trained to be the manager, and so I was like, and it was also like an illegal like consumption lounge, so I was help bringing in girls. We did promo because there was the Los Angeles Community College across the street.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so we would go and like pass out flyers, and then people would come, and I mean, but it was really cool. But I had to help all the like the high roller customers. Some of them are still like my friends to this day. Actually, my tattoo artist, Bubba, he came from the weed shop, and I didn't even ever have tattoos, but he was just such a cool friend, and we had such good conversations that like I was like kind of scared of tattoos, but like with him I was like, oh, I'm down to like get tattoos and stuff. But you just met a lot of great people. It's
a community, and that's the thing that is for me, like, there's a lot of models in particular that I met through cannabis conventions, really.
Yeah.
Like the whole like, and back when it was like, these are tobacco water pipes, these are, you know, it's like, fuck, man, we're all getting high.
Well,
we're all lying, but
it was really taboo to be a cannabis model and to like put that brand.
I remember
out there.
if you said you were a cannabis model on
still-
MySpace, that was the one thing that MySpace were like, no, you can't say that.
Still, yeah, ganja girls.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
No, it was really weird because when I was growing up, Chronic Candy, they were from Riverside. They were using hot girls for really good, amazing kind of Playboy shoot style like photography, which was really nice. So it was like if you got with them, you were cool. I still talk to them too. I worked a lot with them for the conventions. Then there was 420 Nurses. I knew the girl that's working there. I don't know if she's still running it. I believe she still is, but she was really awesome and had a great like look, you know, with the whole 420 Nurses. So there's been a lot of pioneers in this industry, and it really wasn't. But I did like shoots for like Pure Glass, and it was funny because I remember like I brought like some girls that we got hired, and I was like, all right, they were like, okay, you're gonna get a paycheck, or you could get bongs. We were like, fuck that, we're getting paychecks and we're getting
there
bongs.
you go. Yeah. Okay, you take the money, I'll get the picking out pieces and shit.
I've
Yeah.
done a lot of like cannabis, like lifestyle, you know, gigs, and I just love it. I love the whole like, I love the culture of cannabis. I've even after that I did harvesting. I've done trimming, like where I went to an actual farm. Kind of crazy. I'll never do that again. But
oh, it's hard fucking work.
yeah, and it's also scary. A lot of those farmers got like cabin fever, so.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah, so I have a hate-love relationship with the farmer, but you know, all in all, like the plants to like see a real farm.
Experiencing the whole thing from
Amazing.
beginning to end, and like I say, having friends that I do that are in where they're making resins and extracts, and like it's such a science now. I mean, I laugh and kind of feel bad because I bunch of my friends are like, when we talk about, yeah, man, I used to make pipes out of a pen and a socket, or I'd get an avocado, or and they're just like, why? They don't get it. Like, I have never owned a grinder. I never. And I was like, yeah, you don't know what it is to have to fucking break your shit up, take all the seeds and sticks out, and then use a pop can because...
Dude, you know, back in the day too, when we were bud tending, like now, like all these bud tenders, they look so stupid with like little polos, like little dorks. First of all, it was all hot girls. You just came in, you were chill, but you were hot. And you know, we had the actual jars where people can actually like put their hand, like they can go in the jar, they can feel it and whatever. So people were real critical about like if you gave them a weed and they had it was all stick, you know, because that's weight. So, you know, doing the little things made people want to like tip you more. And I remember I used to have people, they would specifically wait for me. I would, you know, serve them. I would tip me to serve them, tip me to roll up for them, tip me to smoke with them. And, you know, it was kind of like a therapy session of chilling with them, and then they'd go, and then, you know, sometimes they'd come, you know, they would always come back, and it was like you started to develop your regulars.
I remember one day when I walked, like after my 15th or 20th, like, and there was a good chunk of time where I actually just completely quit smoking, quit drinking, quit everything, and I was like, I just need to be sober. And I would still go with friends, and I that was when I noticed, I was like, when the fuck did every bud place I go to turn into Coyote Ugly? Like, what in the shit is this? But it was like, I'm with it. Okay, I get it.
I love Coyote Ugly.
That was just where I was
really
like,
wanted me to be a bartender, but hell yeah. Like,
yeah, I was like,
how
damn.
it is.
And now there's I mean, when you go to dispensaries, a lot of times even now, there's always the really dark, but there's always that one girl in the corner.
You know, out here it's like there's not like the hot girl thing, except for Hardin. I do brand ambassador for them.
Yeah.
But if you go in there, which if you're out here, you should totally check them out. They got hot girls in outfits. Like their whole
It's all out.
marketing,
It's the way it should be.
So, but they do it
Create the aesthetic, and people will. Right. If you build it, they will come.
Great like way. It looks very classy.
Nice.
Very the lifestyle. So like, you know, there's a lot of cannabis, like this cannabis industry is booming. There's so many people that are, you know, developing their marketing strategies on Instagram, and those are sponsorship deals.
It's becoming more and more normalized, and it's good.
For girls,
Yeah.
and you know, these are totally ways that you can get like some brand work. It's the new hustle, and
Yeah.
it's really awesome to see the evolution of all
I remember when it used to be a really big deal if you could be like the St. Pauli girl, or and to now what I'm seeing is the people going, but I'm repped by this company or this glass company or this vape company or the different. It's becoming more mainstream on a level that is commercially accessible to your every person.
And a lot of cannabis companies are willing to work with OnlyFans girls, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah, because they don't.
We're both getting censored on like IG, so really if we all teamed up, and I have a big project in the works for both of those.
There's unity in. I mean, that's the reason rebellions happen.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Is I'm fed up with this, and enough people feel like-minded, and they go, fine, fuck you, then we'll do our own thing, right. And that is what happens. That is how it works.
Right.
So
I mean, there's a whole war going on.
Yeah, we could talk about that for fucking hours.
Yeah.
I want to cover one thing with you because I've wanted to actually ask this. I talk to a lot. I mean, obviously I'm friends with a lot of strippers, a lot of like sex workers and stuff like that. The one thing that always gets brought up is OnlyFans is an online version of a strip club. And too many people don't really understand the etiquette of a strip club. You pay a fee at the door or a minimum drink fee to get in. That is what the club makes.
Right.
And then there's that's your membership fee. That's your monthly subscription. You pay the $9 or $10 for the month or whatever it is, or 20 or 6, whatever it is per the person. That's your door fee.
If you're going to Disneyland, you're gonna pay
your admission.
Whatever you need to get through that gate. Yeah.
If you wanna go see you wanna go on to the rides, you pay more.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if you're sitting at a stage and a girl is dancing and you are not tipping, go home.
Get the fuck out of here.
What do you think is a fair per song tip at a decent club in Vegas?
Per song tip?
Yeah. What would you say is just like a...
I mean, well, the common is $20 and then plus tip, and it could be, you know, $5, $10. It just really depends. Like, you know, sometimes there's girls that don't try. You gotta give a little effort into it. You definitely need to, like... It is a give and take as well, but you also gotta like let them know like why you deserve that and why that guy should feel good about spending his money. It shouldn't always be that I'm here and this is what it is, even though that is what it is. You don't want them to feel that way.
You give the individualism, the direct contact. And see, to me, that correlates strip club wise as, you know, if you've got the strip club and you should be paying for girls on stage and stuff like that, it's the same on OnlyFans or camming of if you're there and you're hanging out, you should occasionally either drop tips or you should, you know, or if somebody's offering up like, hey, there's this extra little video that I'm offering to everybody for a few bucks, those are the ones you pick up.
Yeah.
Then if you want to go to the champagne room, then it's a bigger fee.
Yes.
You got to pay for the one-on-one.
If you're trying to take me away from all these other people,
and this is the thing that,
you know, to go and entertain you.
Why is it so hard for people to understand that online? Because if you want an individual video or you want one-on-one time or you want custom content, fucking pay for it.
People are so new to this. A lot of OnlyFans people, they're coming from social media where they normally are not paying for anything. So you're dealing with a lot of people who are very new to this whole, you know, system, right? They're normally people who would go into the strip club and, you know, they probably don't really understand the etiquette there. But it's a new generation. The guys on webcam are actually better customers than the guys on OnlyFans. But it's like, you know, you never know. And also, there's definitely celebrities who have OnlyFans accounts who are, you know, tuning in. They're paying, so you don't know who you're going to land on. But the whole thing of it is, you know, every girl, this is your friend. This is your storefront. This is your room. You have the ability to really put yourself out there and sell what your personality is.
And that's not cheap. Developing an aesthetic and a brand is not cheap, and yet people fight the idea of paying for that. And I don't. And of course, being in a smaller town with a smaller club, like there are guys who are literally shocked. Like, wait, so for 150, I get 15 minutes with just you naked, but I don't get to like touch you.
Yeah. So
there's no sex. What?
There's
it's like
a lot of things too. I mean, you really have to put your guidelines there.
Yeah.
Like in my on my page, you know, I let guys know, like, don't ask me to meet up with you. This is not what this is.
Yeah.
If I was going to meet up with you, I wouldn't be on this website. But it's also need to understand, like, don't push that for me. Like, if I already say, like, no, I'm not interested, like, don't make an assumption. And also too, it's like you have to expect this. You are giving off the sexual energy, so sometimes people aren't always in their best mindset.
Yeah.
But that's not your problem, and you know, you have to just say what it is, and that's that. If they want to go to another girl, let them.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about that. In this way, unlike the strip club, you could demand respect.
Yeah.
You could be willing to take that just to get the money, but really, like, for me, I like being treated respectfully than to in the strip club. You know, guys get to, you know, talk to you the way they are because that the strip allows that because it's ran by men.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very misogynist.
Yeah. Well, and I just laughed because and it finally happened. I have a lot of friends who obviously they're camming, they're doing different things, and they will sometimes send me the messages and be like, dude,
Yeah,
listen to this dude's talking to me.
Fucking hilarious.
It is. It's funny. And I mean, I had one girl hit me up here last year. She goes, I have a question I don't want to ask you, but I don't know what to say here, and you're usually pretty good with words. And I was like, what? And she was like, this guy wants a dick rating. And she said, I kid you not, this guy had, it was like an avocado got in a fight with a lemon, and they somehow like meshed together.
Dude, you didn't even have to it. Like, I don't even know where dick ratings came from, but
It's the weirdest concept ever in the world to me. Like, I think they're kind of
guys
ugly, but yeah, this
are
one.
really into it. Like, I have this other guy that did this and then like tipped me to like rate his balls, which is like, okay.
Potatoes in a
pay
fucking
for
burlap
it.
sack.
But, you know, you gotta make him feel good. But
Yeah,
it
I
was
was
like, you know, for him to like, and then I think he like wrote me a message and was like, hey, did you like look at it again? And it's just like,
It's very, very
I
strange.
get too excited,
But she didn't know what to say to him, so she like. But people don't realize, like, girls talk. If you say something to a girl at the strip club, they go in the locker room, they tell the other girls.
Mm-hmm.
Girls that do OnlyFans together and things of that nature who know each other. I am that friend that they send me, and I get tons. And it finally happened where I saw a message from a guy that I know to a girl that is a
Yeah.
friend of mine, and it's taking everything not to just call him out.
Is
I
a
just
lot of people are on it, and even some people will deny that they want to consume it.
Yeah.
But
well, and my biggest thing is he was very rude to her, and it's taking everything in me to just call him up and be like, if I find out you ever talk to a girl this way again, I'm calling your mother.
no, I mean, you can't take what they're saying
I know,
seriously.
Well, this has been great. There's been a ton going
I
on.
wish I could talk more.
No.
I do have to get back to mom life.
Yep.
But,
We will get other sessions
this
in.
is
We'll do
really
other
cool.
stuff.
You
So-
definitely have to come on my podcast.
Yeah, I will do that for
whenever
sure.
you can, or
Yeah.
make it
I'm gonna be back
here.
down here. We can do stuff through Zoom and things too. I mean, I've got my
Okay.
setup, so if nothing else, we can do audio and I can send it to you. Real quick, plug your social media. Plug what you want.
So you can follow me on Instagram, Onyx Muse XO, and on Twitter, Onyx Muse XXX, and go to my website to get a free trial to my OnlyFans, which is onyxsocialclub.com. And thank you so much. This is really exciting. I'm so happy I got to meet you in person. And
Yeah, it's been years, but yeah.
we have so many good things to talk
Yeah,
about.
this will be fun. We'll keep doing it. Give me 2 songs you can't stop listening to.
2 songs I can't stop listening to. Really right now today, Dead Mouse, Monophobia has been fucking going on in my head because I like that shit, you know, EDC's
Gotcha,
coming. Another song in my head is probably Jimi Hendrix. Hey Joe. Of course, Foxy Lady. That's like like my song. So
right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on that, I will let you go. Once again, Closet of Nonsense. Shoot us emails. Let us know if you have any questions, things like that.
Appreciate you guys.
We will talk soon. Everybody have a good one. Again, remember, no one's alone. Don't feel alone. Always reach out. Peace.
Inside my head, there's a little place left for you. What do you know? What do you know?